What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, we're going to talk about the $50,000 ELOC equity line of credit that the Kraken most likely exhausted within the last few months. But the obvious question as Hurricane Helene rolls in, why in the fuck won't the CEO of the company tell you when it ended and why? All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first time ever, underwaterscooterpros.com. Our buddy Ray, who was on The Price is Right Monday night. That video is inside of our private Discord community. If you'd like to be a part of the show, go to shopsmallbiz.com, get a Discord if you don't have a small biz. That's 2/3 of our members. Premium, of which Ray is one if you do. Again, at shopsmallbiz.com. Buy 1 month and get the second month free. But I'm telling you guys right now, when this video is over, and I'm going to pin a link in the top comment, I want you going to underwaterscooterpros.com. Get the underwater scooter that you deserve. Energize your dives with precision and power today. This thing will scoot along at almost three miles an hour. And I always thought it was going to be, right, big lakes, rivers, the ocean, of course. I lived in Florida. I definitely have one. But how about a pool? If you got a sizable pool, you can cruise around. It serves everything from deep diving, ice diving, cave diving, scuba diving, pool diving, you name it. Underwaterscooterpros.com. Get yourself one today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the path as the one and only Cindy S. inside of our Discord, our thoughts and our prayers are with you. She just went through a Cat 1, which is not very vicious. I believe it was with Debbie a few weeks ago. This woman, she has turkeys. We saw that last night. Chickens, cows, and 11 horses that she wants to pull inside of her house because she's terrified that something's going to happen to her animal farm. Well, you got to promise us, Cindy, if that does happen and you get all those critters inside your house, you got to take a videotape and you got to take pictures. But most importantly, you got to stay in contact with us. Do not mess around with Cat 3 and higher, ladies and gentlemen. Hunker down if you can't get out of town. Generally, that's major wind and rain damage, depending on the flooding areas that you're currently in. So you are in our thoughts and prayers, and I hope that everyone gets through. Even here in Atlanta, Thursday night through Friday morning, we're going to have 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And for Atlanta, that's like 17 feet of snow. So I'll probably be without fucking power for the next week and a half. So say a prayer for me too as well. All right, the Kraken last trade, the new limit, $1.15 a share. I'm not going to go on for 20 minutes as to what this company needs to do. I've already done that a million times. The purpose of this video is twofold. One, to let you know exactly what we think is going on with respect to the ELOC. And one more time, number two, implore the CEO of the company, who unfortunately has no credibility. You don't announce 2 contracts worth $33 million a few days ago, more than doubling the size of the company in terms of the run rate in the next 12 to 18 months, and see the motherfucking stock go down unless you have no credibility and or you're still diluting the motherfucking stock. With that said, I've seen a number of emails in the last 72 hours from Jason Assad, ASSAD in the investor relations department, and I always got along with him fine. I think he's got an awfully tough job, obviously. When you have the Dow and the S&P at or near all-time highs, and this motherfucker reverse split adjusted not once but twice, ladies and gentlemen, it came public in 2021. The equivalent of $50,000 a share. $50,000 a share. Then you had the 1 for 60 last year, and then a 1 for 150 reverse split, $1.15. So if you bought the fucking stock up here at 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, you've lost virtually every ounce of money you've invested in this godforsaken company. However, if we're to believe that it's true, and we have a $50 million run rate and they can make 10 or 15% to the bottom line, there's no fucking way it belongs down here unless there's corruption that we're unaware of and we've loaded ourselves to the gills. There isn't anybody on the fucking planet in terms of a group, and I told him this the last time when he fucking told me to sell every share that I had, and basically, we're never going to talk again. We've got over 400 people that own a couple of $1 million worth of this fucking stock. Again, we sold it on the way up to 60 cents before the reverse. We made a boatload of money, and on paper, we've given most of it back alongside with many of you. And I've tried repeatedly, and I'm going to try again today after I explain what I think happened with the ELOC to get them to enhance, protect viciously shareholder value. Because he gets an A+ for taking care of the insiders, aka the Keystone Cops, and those that converted their preferred stock to less than a nickel before they blew it out for tens of millions, most likely, or at least millions of dollars of profit prior to the reverse split. And those restricted units that he's given employees, rather impressive. However, this goes out to Boaz, who before all this Element 82 and lead remediation showed up, which is impressive. It's unbelievable how fast they've grown in a short period of time. Again, assuming it's real. But when Boaz showed up, 6-9 months ago, the stock was 12 or 13 cents pre-split. It's now post-split less than a penny. So Boaz, at least for now, you're down 90% plus on what you signed up for. How long are guys like you going to stick around if this stock is going to continue to fade into the abyss? Answer, not long. Oh, but that's right. The same guy who repriced the convertible preferred to under a nickel when it was 3 or 4 times that is most likely going to reprice or just give guys like Boaz more stock because he gets an A++, and I'm talking about Doug, for taking care of insiders and employees. And I will also say he gets an A++ for growing this company away from the smart insert window biz, which has been delayed for 2 years. It's incredible that they've somehow avoided Chapter 11 last year, and they now have a 50 on its way, in my opinion, to a $100 million company, laying cable, drilling for clean water, and lead remediation. It is fucking impressive, to say the least. However, here we are, after announcing a double in the size of the company at $1.14, within a nickel or thereabouts of another all-time low as the rest of the market's at all-time highs, wondering what really happened with the ELOC. Well, reading between multiple email lines, as I said in the last video, and watch it, there's the pinned link to Gonzaga and the SEC filing on the supplemental, the $2.55 million with AGP that they did about 10 or 11 days ago. In that June 5th article, it talked about how they gave Keystone Capital 300 million shares. Reverse split adjusted, 1 for 150. That's 2 million shares. We've talked about that many times. Forgive me, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until last night. And again, I cannot guarantee this is what happened because these motherfuckers won't tell us. At least not yet. They're hiding behind, that's non-public information, and we're not going to release that until the end of the quarter. My ass. Companies pre-announce, companies announce the end of dilution, end of investment banking relationships, all the motherfucking time. The reason, in my opinion, that they don't want to do this is they don't want you knowing how much dilution they've done and how many shares are currently outstanding. I estimate at least 8 million, probably more, after the ATM, the at-the-market offering they just announced 2 weeks ago or thereabouts, for $2.55 million. But in that June 5th article, it said $36 million or thereabouts was left on the $50 million ELOC equity equipment line of credit. Take your pick. They'd already drawn down $14 million. In the last quarterly report, we saw, I think it was $11.8 million of financing. So they had done between 12 and 14 million by the time the quarter ended June 30th. In that article on June 5th, they had the right to go another 36 million to total the $50 million ELOC with Keystone Capital. And it's my opinion, reading between the lines, that when Jason in IR not only said, and I quote, actually, we don't have an ELOC anymore. And then he clarified that last night and the night before, and I'm not going to share those emails because I respect his privacy. He's like, well, if you assume 2 million shares post-reverse split on that 300 million, you might stand to reason that if we no longer have an ELOC, They obviously sold the 300, aka 2 million shares since June in the reverse split until now. So that must mean, if I'm correct, and he's telling you there is no more ELOC, and I see no other way to end the ELOC other than they sold the stock that generated the cash so they can draw down on the equity line of credit, case closed, game over. That would mean they must have somewhere between $20 and $30 million or thereabouts of cash. And I'm fucking telling you right now, Doug, the only thing that's holding this stock down at $1.14, a motherfucking disgrace, is you and your lack of credibility. Nobody believes anything you say. I've been around 30 years trading and investing in this market, half of it as a broker from 93 to 07. I honestly cannot recall another instance where a company doubled and even tripled the size of their business and the stock keeps going down, down, down. That's called lack of confidence, lack of credibility, and massive dilution. But if it's true that the ELOC has been exhausted and there is no more ELOC actually, quote unquote, then come out and tell us. Do a shareholder letter and say, as of X date, as of X month, take your pick, we no longer have a $50 million ELOC with Keystone Capital. As a result of our relationship, we currently have approximately $25 million of cash, in addition to a $2.55 million supplemental offering that we did approximately 2 weeks ago, and they may not have sold all that yet, with Alliance Global Partners, their original underwriter, you know, that brought them public, reverse split adjusted at $50,000, last trade $1.14. You come out and clarify and then back it up with not only another projection of top line revenue and bottom line next year, but say something along the lines, as a result of our current offering, at the market offering, and existing pile of cash, we don't see any need to raise additional capital for the balance of 24 or until the spring of 25. Take your pick. You do that, boom, stock is $2 a share. You have to ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, why won't they do it? Why the fuck won't they do it? They're fantastic at taking care of employees and insiders. Doug has done a phenomenal job along with the team of not only avoiding bankruptcy, but growing a 50 and perhaps soon to be $100 million company. But they're about to go under $1 again, which would be NASDAQ non-compliant once again, on their way to a third reverse split. Why not draw a line in the sand and save yourself, the company, and your credibility by being honest with shareholders? Tell them when the relationship ended. Tell them how much cash you have as a result. Do some sort of forward projection and tell us that you don't see any additional need other than the offering that's still out there to raise new capital until early next year. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, be safe out there. Always remember that we love you, and make sure to check out underwaterscooterpros.com today. Doesn't need any more cowbell.